I thought it was just another Tuesday night, the kind where the stale air of my apartment thickened with the scent of lukewarm coffee, and the hum of my PC sounded like a dying insect. My name is Alex, and for the past 2 years, my life has been a monotonous cycle of streaming video games on Twitch, hoping for that elusive breakthrough that never seemed to arrive. Mostly it was just me, a handful of loyal lurkers, and the gnawing fear that I was wasting my life chasing a ghost. Before we dive in, tell me, do you usually wear headphones for these stories, or just play them out loud? I know many of you use these scary stories to relax and fall asleep, and I'm doing my best to grow this little channel. Share your feedback, it helps me a lot. Let me know in the comments things like, are the stories too long or too short? Do you want more sound effects? Is the narration calming enough? Your words keep me going. Now, let's dive in. That night was no different. I was deep into a particularly frustrating boss fight in Elden Ring. My commentary a mix of strained encouragement and barely suppressed curses. My chat was its usual sparse affair. A few GGs from the few who bothered, a sarcastic emoji from my friend Maya, my sole real-world connection to this digital existence. Then a new username popped up, Watcher_13. It was unusual for a new account to be so active, but they immediately dropped a message into my chat. Alex, you need to see this. I usually ignored external links, especially cryptic ones, but there was something insistent, almost urgent in the phrasing. Curiosity, a dangerous beast for someone as bored as I was, got the better of me. I glanced at the username again. Watcher_13. It felt watched. Alright, chats, I said, my voice a little too loud in the quiet room. Looks like someone has a very important message for me. Probably nothing, but let's see what's up. Maya typed. Don't click weird links, dingus, I chuckled, a dry, humorless sound. The link opened in a new tab. It wasn't a typical URL. It was a string of seemingly random characters, ending in .live. My system flagged it as potentially unsafe, but I ignored the warning. What was the worst that could happen? Another scam? A phishing attempt? I'd dealt with worse. The page loaded slowly, the progress bar crawling like a wounded slug. When it finally rendered, it wasn't a website. It was a video player. And on that player, a live countdown timer was ticking down from 0 hours, 10 minutes, and 0 seconds. Below it, in stark white text on a black background, were the words, "Your end." My blood, already thin from lack of sleep, turned to ice. It wasn't just the timer, it was the webcam feed. Hovering over the video player, impossibly, was my webcam feed. The one I used for my stream. The one that, I was absolutely certain, was only active when I was live. It showed my room, my cluttered desk, my face, frozen in a grimace of concentration from the game. But the Alex on screen wasn't playing Elden Ring. He was staring at the screen, just like I was, his expression a mirror of my own growing horror. What the? I stammered, my hands flying to my keyboard. I tried to close the tab, but it wouldn't budge. The X button was grayed out. I tried Alt F4, Control Alt Delete, anything. Nothing. The timer continued its relentless march downwards. 0 hours, 9 minutes and 58 seconds. 0 hours, 9 minutes and 57 seconds. My chat, which had been momentarily silent, exploded. Not with my usual lurkers, but with users I'd never seen before. Watcher_13. He's trying to close it. Foolish. GamerGod_99. He's panicking. Good. Shadowfax. Look at his room. It's exactly like this. Nightcrawler. 9:45 left. He's going to try to unplug his router. I froze. They knew. How did they know I was about to reach for the router? My heart hammered against my ribs. A frantic drumbeat against the suffocating silence of my apartment. I had been about to reach for the router. My fingers had already twitched in that direction. It was like they were watching my thoughts, translating them into real-time commentary. Maya chimed in, her earlier sarcasm replaced by genuine concern. Alex, what is this? Is this some kind of elaborate prank? I don't know, Maya, I breathed, my voice raspy. This isn't me. This isn't right. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly across the floor. The Alex on the screen mimicked my movement, his eyes wide and terrified. My reflection in the monitor was a ghostly echo of the horror playing out on the screen. Watcher_13, he's getting up, he thinks he can run. Observer 007, he's checking the windows, no one there. Prophet_X, he's gonna grab his phone, to call someone. And I was. My hand instinctively went towards my pocket, my phone, a beacon of hope, only to be extinguished by the sheer impossibility of it all. They were narrating my actions before I even fully committed to them. The chilling accuracy was starting to break me. I was trapped in a digital prison, my own life being broadcast to an unseen audience, complete with a live soundtrack of my impending doom. By the way, if you had to spend one night in a haunted place, would you choose an abandoned hospital, a graveyard, or a forest? Drop your answer. I spent the next few minutes in a frenzy, trying to find the source of this. I checked my streaming software, my privacy settings, my network connections. Nothing. It was as if this feed, this countdown, existed outside of my own system, hijacking my webcam and my life. The timer ticked down. 0 hours, 5 minutes, and 12 seconds. The chat continued its morbid commentary, each message a fresh wave of dread. They were predicting my next moves with terrifying precision. My frantic search for a way out was being broadcast, my desperation laid bare. Then, a shift. The chat changed. Watcher_13. He stopped searching. He's sitting down. GamerGod_99. He's accepting it. I sank back into my chair, the adrenaline draining me. They were right. What else could I do? Fight a ghost in the machine? The timer was still ticking, but the manic energy that had propelled me was gone, replaced by a hollow resignation. I just stared at the screen. At the Alex on screen who was staring back, his face pale and drawn. 0 hours, 1 minute, and 0 seconds. The countdown was now agonizingly slow, each second stretching into an eternity. The chat had fallen silent, as if collectively holding its breath. Even Maya had stopped typing, her brief foray into my digital nightmare clearly disturbed. The air in my apartment felt heavy, suffocating. The hum of the PC seemed to grow louder, the dying insect now a buzzing fly trapped in a spiderweb. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 10 seconds. I watched myself on the screen. My future self? My past self? It didn't matter. I was watching my final moments unfold in distorted, pixelated form. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 3 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 2 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second. The timer hit 0. Nothing happened. For a blissful, terrifying second, I thought it was over. A false alarm, a cruel joke. I let out a shaky breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Then, the webcam feed on the hijacked page flickered. The Alex I was watching vanished, replaced by a distorted, static-ridden image of my room. The chat remained blank. I cautiously reached for my mouse, my fingers trembling. And then, from the corner of my eye, I saw it. The door to my bedroom, which I had closed earlier, was slowly, silently swinging open. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway. Tall, slender, wearing a dark, nondescript hoodie, with the hood pulled low, obscuring their face. They stepped into the dim light of my room, their movement unnervingly fluid. My breath hitched. This was it, an intruder. My fears, my paranoia, my absolute terror, all coalesced into a single, suffocating certainty. But as they took another step, and the moonlight from my window caught their profile, I realized something impossible. The way they held their head, the slight slump of their shoulders, the way they moved, it was me. The figure reached up, their hands slowly, deliberately, pulling down the hood. And I was staring into my own eyes, reflected back at me from a face that had seen this future. My own face, but older, etched with a weariness and a terror I hadn't yet acquired, but would. Behind my own eyes, I could see the faint glow of a monitor, and on that monitor, a familiar game wasn't being played. It was a live stream, and the chat was filled with the same names that had haunted me just moments before. I raised a hand, not in aggression, but in a gesture of desperate, chilling understanding. He didn't speak, but his eyes, my eyes, held a silent, damning message. Watcher_13, the chat finally chimed in, one last. Spectral message before the hijacked feed went black, leaving me alone in the sudden, oppressive silence of my room. He made it. That's the end of tonight's tale, but the darkness continues. Subscribe if you want to hear the next one, and tell me in the comments which part made your skin crawl.